The star. Most people are unsatisfied with their lives. They always want something more. Perhaps they want to accomplish some goal or move somewhere different. Whatever seems to be the solution to their unhappiness, it is often hard to reach. They are too lazy and scared to act. This is why most people seek to escape reality in dreams and fantasies. Stars feed on these dreams and fantasies. They stand out from the rest of the crowd and make us admire them. At the same time, they keep their distance and allow us to imagine more than there is, a good strategy to make themselves seem blessed and perfect. We want to be like them, so we unconsciously imitate them. If you can make yourself an object of fascination, you will obtain unimaginable power. This is no easy task, but well worth the effort. The star is the most powerful seducer. The fetishistic star. In 1922 in Berlin, there were hundreds of desperate actresses auditioning to play the main role in the film Tragedy of Love. Some of them even slept with the director. There was one woman that didn't seem at all desperate. She dressed like any normal woman, and she didn't try to seduce anyone. She was pretty, but nothing out of the ordinary. She seemed cold and careless, and her legs were attractive. The way she moved was suggestive, and her face was mysterious. She looked like a typical German woman, but the director couldn't stop looking at her. She was the one who got the role. Her name was Marlene Dietrich. In 1929, Joseph von Sternberg began to film The Blue Angel, and again, hundreds of women went out of their way to get the main role. Dietrich didn't even audition. One night, Sternberg attended a musical, hoping to find a talented actor for the main male role. He had no idea that Dietrich was the star of the musical. He couldn't stop looking at her. She was so sensual and appealing that he completely forgot that he was looking for a man that night. He wanted her in The Blue Angel. She didn't want the role, but he managed to convince her, and he transformed her image and attitude. He changed her hair and taught her how to move. Sternberg transformed her into something breathtaking. She was perfect, and he fell in love with his creation. He followed her everywhere. The film was a success, and after its release, everyone in Germany knew who she was. Everyone was talking about her. Men became obsessed with her, and women began to imitate her. Dietrich owed her success to her face, and to Sternberg. Her face was vague. Sternberg loved how he could play with the lighting and the angle of the camera to change the message and emotions transmitted by her face. To most people, she seemed like an easygoing woman that was lucky. She certainly didn't give off the image of a woman that spent countless hours in front of the mirror. But this was only because very few people ever got close enough to realize that that wasn't the case. In private, she studied every angle of her face and experimented with different looks to figure out how to shock people and become an object of adoration. Marlene Dietrich took her appearance very seriously and studied her face and body to a very detailed degree. She experimented with her face to figure out what made her more appealing. The way she posed and moved seemed improvised, but it was very calculated. Everyone who saw her was left astonished. She didn't seem like an ordinary human being. She was like a beautiful work of art in a museum. You could see her, you could admire her, you could even take pictures of her, but you could not possess her. Like a star in the sky, the fetishistic star has to keep her distance. Distance is what gives them their dreamlike quality because no one can see who they truly are. If they allow themselves to be seen constantly, they leave no room for imagination. They become an average human being, and the public isn't given the opportunity to imagine more than there is. From a distance, they can't think of the star as a mere mortal. They are put on a pedestal and they are regarded as a god or as a goddess. Even on the pedestal, it's important for the fetishistic star to have a unique style, one that demands attention to outshine the other stars. The mythic star. Both John F. Kennedy and Richard Nixon were presidential candidates for the US elections of 1960. John F. Kennedy was 43 years old, quite young for the job, and many thought he lacked experience. On the 4th of July, he appeared on television and gave a fascinating and inspiring speech. This is a young country, founded by young men, and still young in heart. The world is changing. The old ways will not do. It is time for a new generation of leadership to cope with the new problems and new opportunities. Truth is that he was young and lacked experience. Most candidates would have qualified themselves, but not Kennedy. He did something more clever. He blamed it on the government. His age and inexperience were not the problem. The ones to blame were the current government officials and their outdated ways of governing. Months later, he appeared on television to debate against his opponent. Nixon was sharp. He gave a really technical talk about the economy and important data and statistics that proved he was well prepared. The problem was that he looked worried and tired, and he was so technical that most people didn't understand him. Kennedy, on the other hand, wasn't at all technical. He spoke about freedom and building a better future. He was relaxed and he seemed very empathetic, and the country loved him. His words were never specific, but he was always confident, and this was enough. His stare lowered people's defenses, and his smile was intriguing. He was different to all the other politicians. He was more like a celebrity, and he was treated like one. Crowds of young girls lost their minds when they saw him in person. He was very mysterious and everyone wanted to know more about him. It's no surprise that he was elected president, and when he was assassinated, he became a legend. Kennedy was the son of a movie producer, and as a child, he had the opportunity to spend time with movie stars in Hollywood. He studied them carefully, and he adopted their behaviors. He was no celebrity, but he behaved like one, and the country loved his rock star attitude. They loved it so much that they elected him president, regardless of his lack of experience. Seducing one person can be challenging. Seducing the masses is impossible to 99.9% of people. Race, culture, gender, and religion separate people into different groups. A person that clearly favors one group will gain their love and appreciation, but another group will resent him for this. Earning the love of every group is tricky. To do it, one has to aim at everything they have in common. Everyone fears death. Everyone wishes they were more outgoing. Everyone wants to be smarter. Everyone feels insecure every so often. This is when the mythic star comes in. They seem to be everything we want to be. We consciously know they will die, but the future generations will never forget them. This is a kind of immortality. They are adventurous, they are wise, they are confident. Like every person, stars have flaws, but we don't get to see them. They are able to hide them by not letting us get too close. How can we see their weaknesses from far away? To us mortals, they are the heroes of some great drama, and we can only admire them from afar. Seducing a person is complicated. There are other people and stimuli competing for their attention. If you want to be the one to earn it, you better stand out. You need to reach their unconscious mind. Stars like Marlene Dietrich and JFK have a strong effect on people because they seem superior and at the same time unreal, like a dream, a better version of ourselves. We want to possess them, but we can't, so we imitate them. This is the seductive effect that stars possess. Most people are too real and boring. To be a star, make yourself seem slightly unreal. Every now and then reveal something about yourself that no one knew about. This will shock and intrigue everyone. We want to know more about them because they are so unique. More often than not, however, we aren't sure what it is that makes them so magnetic. Unconsciously, we are strangely drawn to things that have no meaning beyond their fascinating appearance. Be larger than life. Remember that you have to fill your target's mind with images of you. You must stand out from everyone else. They have to be seeing you in their minds when you're not there. Learn to tune your face like an instrument, making it radiate a fascinating vagueness for effect. This allows the victim to add depth to you and only see what they want to see. Remember that instead of signaling moods and emotions, the star draws in interpretations. Those that identify with a star will gravitate towards him or her, but the attraction must be unconscious, conveyed not in your words, but in your pose, your attitude. Stars are oftentimes spiritual or fight for some cause, and because we also want to contribute to the world, we imitate them. It is often the little things that get under people's skin and make them imitate you. People are insecure. They're not sure of who they are nor what they want. A star is appealing because it's a role model. People no longer have to think for themselves. Their star is their guide, someone they can follow. The power you have in influencing people's sense of self in this manner is insidious and profound. Finally, stars adapt their image to the times. Nothing is more laughable than an image that was fashionable 10 years ago but isn't anymore. Stars must always renew their luster or face the worst possible fate, oblivion. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please leave a like and subscribe for more.